All right, cold call openers. So the opener of a cold call is extremely important, right? It's not often focused on. Often people talk about how you handle objections or how you might ask for the meeting. But the open of the cold call is extremely important, especially when you're selling into kind of more difficult to penetrate markets or markets where people are more resistant to giving you time on the phone, right? Specifically the US, right? So the US, we make a ton of calls into the US, and you can see that getting into conversations with people on the phone in the US is significantly harder than it is in countries like New Zealand, Australia, or Canada, where people are just less willing to give you time. And so you need an opener that's going to allow you to start a conversation with the prospect, allow you to explain why you're calling, so that you can get into the detail of what you're trying to get across. Okay, so there's 3 cold call openers that work really well. We've tested these in a bunch of markets, and they're kind of interchangeable. The way that we think about openers is find one that works for you that you're comfortable delivering, right? Because that's much more important than the specific words you say, right? More often than not, it's how you say something as opposed to what you say. But here's a little bit of a framework, or 3 different frameworks you can use to get into these conversations with more consistent success. All right, so the first one is an oldie but a goodie, and it is, "Hi, John, it's Matt calling. I haven't caught you at a bad time, have I?" Right, so I haven't caught you at a bad time, have I? What we're doing there is we're asking for a no-oriented response, right? So we want the prospect to say no. That then gives us permission to continue talking, right? Josh Braun talks about this a lot. I think this comes from Chris Voss. That is that people are much more comfortable saying no in these situations than they are saying yes. So if you can ask questions that elicit a no response, then you're on the right track. Okay, so a really simple one. "Hi, John, it's Matt here. I haven't caught you at a bad time, have I?" Right, slight up inflection at the end, asking a question, seeming curious, works pretty well in most markets. So that's number 1. Number 2 is one from the UK's most hated sales trainer. Look him up on LinkedIn if you haven't found it. This one works great. It's a bit of a pattern interrupt, and it goes like this. "Hi, John. Look, I'm going to be upfront with you. This is a cold call. Do you want to hang up, or can I have 30 seconds to explain why I've called?" Right, so why this works is that you're being completely transparent, right? You're laying all of your cards on the table, being completely upfront, and people respect that level of transparency, right? And if you get into a conversation with them, then they feel like you're being honest with them, right? They don't feel like you're trying to conceal anything or sneak anything through the back door, right? You're being honest, you're being upfront. It's a bit of a pattern interrupt because no one says that, right? And so it allows you to start a conversation and dialogue. You'll quite often get humorous responses from people, or they'll be willing to engage you off the back of that. So that's a good one, right? "Hi, John. Look, I'm going to be completely upfront with you. This is a cold call. Can I have 30 seconds to explain why I've called, or do you want to hang up?" All right, so that's number 2. And then number 3 is the one from the guys at Connect and Sell, which again is interesting, a little bit of a pattern interrupt, and it goes like this. "Hi, John. Look, I know I'm an interruption, but can I get 27 seconds to explain why I've called?" Right, again, this feeds off the similar themes to the second option, which is it's a little bit of a pattern interrupt. It's a little bit different, right? 27 seconds is like a weird request or a weird number to ask for. And again, you're kind of like piquing curiosity, breaking down kind of some of the barriers that come with intros to cold calls in terms of being a little bit more human or a little bit different or standing out, right? So, "Hi, John, it's Matt. I know I'm an interruption, but can I get 27 seconds to explain why I've called?" That's number 3, right? So use those 3, try them out, see what feels comfortable for you. Again, that's much more important. We've got reps here that just hate option number 2, which is, "Hey, this is a cold call. Do you want to hang up?" Right? They don't use that because they don't feel comfortable with it. So find one of those 3 that works for you. Try it out. You should be able to get into more conversations and get less hang-ups on the intro.